Record on this computer. Yeah. Well, hello there. This is Susan Hamilton, and you're watching OBBM Live, a special DFW local business. This is a series specifically focused on what's going on in light of the shelter in place, because everybody's having to work a little bit differently. And I've been talking to today, I've had a couple online businesses, and they still are having to work differently because we're still accommodating a new environment here. If it's not ourselves, it is our clients. How do we do it? Hey, Donna Merrill with Business Untangled. Welcome.
Hi there. Thank you for having me.
So glad to have you. You are always such a joy. Donna, you deal in the tax strategy and you deal in accounting and bookkeeping space and help people really understand how to take better responsibility of the numbers going in and out of their business. You really share so much in that space. Tell us right now, what are you seeing? There is so much going on here right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of changes going on. Everybody's changing, and I think the whole world's changing and not going to come back. Is that going to be bad? Not necessarily. It's an opportunity to make it good.
Yes.
And that I do think we're going to see a lot more people working from home. And like we were joking before, the dogs love it and that, but there's a lot of advantages to that for people. And I think we're going to see that go more that direction. The interesting thing is that Donald Trump's Tax and Jobs Act of 2018, when they changed the law, they actually took out the deductions for working at home. So they are looking at maybe doing something more for that. Obviously, it's always been a great deduction for people who are self-employed. But I'm finding it's a great time for those people to be home and doing something productive that brings their dreams together. And still, we've got more time to file our taxes. Let's take advantage of that and learn how to file them and pay less tax while we're doing it, so that we can keep the money in our pocket. We don't have to wait for the government to give it back to us.
You know, and the way you are always teaching people to do it, now is the most important time, because you are the biggest home-based business advocate I've ever met. You love helping people realize how a tax strategy that incorporates the wise use of a home-based business is really a framework and a fabric in American commerce that's important. And today, those types of businesses are able to serve the other ones that can't in different ways and still bring in an income for their family.
Well, what I have seen that's made me so passionate about this is, I had a tax business for 16 years, and I watched how people would, how much they could save and what they could do and the advantages that they can take of legitimate tax law and reduce their taxes. The average person starting a business, if they've never done anything before and they're a little leery, they're going to lose money, they're going to save $300 to $700 a month conservatively in taxes just by starting the business.
Yeah, we just can't ignore that.
That's what we teach them, how that happens. And it can be way more than that, but that, I can only say conservative numbers because I want most people to be able, I think most people can honestly achieve that without doing a whole lot, but they have to make a concerted business effort and intent. And some people are like, well, right now I can't go out and do, this or business or that business, but they might be surprised how they can. One, they can start that deduction clock going right now if they start working on the business and getting prepared. So we're not going to stay in this situation forever, and they're going to be able to do that. There's tons of online opportunities, as well as opportunities in, brick and mortar or other things like that. I always recommend keeping your overhead down, because why pay someone else's bills? And so, I teach them how to do that. And the taxes, everything, no matter how much money they make, it doesn't matter if it's going right out the back door. Come in the front door and goes right out. You're paying someone else's bill. So you keep it down and keep it in your own house, literally. And so that you can work with that. And that's the philosophy of Business Untangled works with. And
you mentioned something earlier. This is the time. I mean, a lot of us are pretty doggone busy. I don't know when I've been busier for me. So because we're having to adapt, so that means we're having to start new processes and still maintain everything that we were doing and still find a way to adapt in this next stage. And it just is a busy time. But like you're saying, things are going to be different. We're going to be, it is, we're going to, all these things are going to come back again. And we're going to have to be able to get on our feet and to have additional streams of income with the business that you're current, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether whether you're working with another company, and it's time to make wiser tax strategies. Having those additional streams of income can really make a huge difference in your bottom line. And I don't know what the wisdom is on it today, Donna, but do you remember back when they were saying that to have 7 different additional streams of income was a wise strategy? And how do you feel about that statement?
Oh, absolutely. More so than ever, because, and some people can't wrap their heads around 7, but even if a few different
Right?
ones, and if they're, from different directions, it'll sure, like right now, some people are making bank, as my kids would say,
Yeah.
where some people are like out of work and they're, going, poor pitiful me because I don't have money, and they literally don't have the money because it just got yanked out from under them. If they had
Yeah.
something else to fall back on. And my daughter's an example. She's always working 3 different jobs, and 2 of them were for events. Well, those 2 went bye-bye, but she had another one, and it's an essential business. And so she's able to continue bringing some income into her house.
Excellent.
Yeah, and if
Excellent. Well,
everybody can do something like that and look towards that, and a family has even more opportunities if they've got, a spouse at home. Well, that spouse can do different things. And from a tax perspective, that balance of having that person with the W-2 job and having a home-based business is great, whether both spouses are involved or just one. That gives 2 different ways. And if the carpet falls out from underneath one, something else will go. Like I said, people are out there making all kinds of money. I know people who have online businesses are just blowing up things, the numbers right now. So it just depends. If you have more than one option, that's great. And the other thing right now is to look out of the box, like, people who are even like the whiskey places, they're now, the liquor manufacturers, they're doing hand sanitizers. But if we take this, in automakers are doing respirators. Well, if we can look at different ways of doing our business, we're not, GM, but, we can look at it, that same philosophy, and apply it to our life. How could we, balance that so that, things can keep going for us in different times? Because lots of people, love to be in the toilet paper industry.
Tell me, isn't there some wisdom in that stock right there?
Yeah,
Did that just change
absolutely.
everything? I'll tell you what, the value, in my opinion, is also about local because of the control of the messaging that goes on around us. And while you just mentioned GM and what they're doing, my husband just came from his office and said, hey, do you realize that they just gouged the government? They were charging a huge number that wasn't a free alteration that they were making to their company, and then they pulled it. So I'm not sure where that is now, but whatever that he was just hearing, we don't have that in stone. It was a great idea that a large corporation was going to take some advantage of, and we need to know that if they go forward, they will take advantage of that. We're not, yeah, of course they will. But local doesn't look at things like that. Local looks at things like what's going to benefit the community, and what's going to benefit us right here, because we're all so connected. Our kids go to school together. Our kids are rivals football teams. We care about what's going on with the teachers and the officers and in our local communities, and we want our tax dollars to make a difference. And we want our reputations to be one that the consumer base knows that they can trust us to bring in what they need. So there's a lot to that. So I'm really grateful that you encourage people in their home-based businesses, and you agree that having several different types is really the way to go. Donna, what is something that you think we need to be doing for ourselves, like right now? What is a piece of your business advice? Because you really understand this space well.
I think people need to watch what they are spending in general, because we all get caught up into things where we, just even our simple things like utilities and stuff, every time we turn around, they're ramping them back up on us, the bills, and we just kind of don't bother with those things and stuff. But now if we just watch areas that we don't normally, do maybe, and just kind of don't let that money going out. It's so much easier not to earn it and then not have it go out. We don't even have to change our lifestyle sometimes, and can change hundreds of dollars. I always recommend, even calling all your technology places every 3 or 4 months and just see what kind of a deal you can do. You can always call and ask them for the retention department, business retention department, because then they know you're thinking about leaving and stuff. And they'll usually give you a deal for about 6 months to a year. I get off the phone. I've usually saved probably $600 to $1,000 each time I make a phone call for a year. That adds up to a household. The average household out here is who I love to work with, but not the big money makers, because the average people are just working so hard to make a living, and they have their dreams, and anything we can do to help them make those dreams. But those pennies, it sounds silly to watch those little pennies, but it adds up. And that's where taxes is why one area I come in a lot on the taxes, because nobody minds paying less tax, but so many people are way overpaying their taxes. So those are some areas that they can look at. We do simple education. I laugh that it's so simple that Homer Simpson can do it, because it's really geared towards that person, and it doesn't have to be intimidating to people and stuff. And they need to realize, hey, we got time right now. Let's take just a little bit of time, even a half hour a day, an hour a day or something, and work towards something that's in our dream, and make our life better. When we come back out of this, let's have positive things that can go in our lives. We can't control everything out there. We can only control what we do and what's in our own situation. And right now we're right in the middle of our own situation. So.
Oh, you are so sweet. And you're absolutely right. And you actually, that's a great segue, because I'm going to talk about your program that you can take. You've got a wonderful program. How to Make Life Less Taxing is your book. In your program, you can start understanding these in those little bite-sized pieces, those little half hours that you now really should invest the time in Donna's program, so you can understand your financial situation better.
And to give people that opportunity, I've marked it down cheaper than ever. It's less expensive. I knocked a whole bunch of it off. And it also includes some personal one-on-one time with me, so I can help them personally do it, as well as just going through a course. It's not just all online. It's some time with us that we can just hunker down and see, what we can do to change things. And a lot of times it can be drastic. I've had people that, one guy just recently is like, tell to his wife, a couple of mine regular clients, they got married, and he's like, gave me some things, and he goes to her, he goes, you think you could save any money? And with just one thing, we saved him a bundle. I mean, it was like $65,000 in their case. Most people, it might not be that much, but if we could add $2,000 to $5,000 to a household, what difference that can make for people. It might save them from bankruptcy.
Absolutely. Well, now we are just one moment here, Donna. We froze for just a second.
Are you still there?
Yes. Can you see me? Apologize for that, but those things will happen every once in a while when the bandwidth gets full. So